And just like that, the Fox X-Men universe has come to an end. Look, I know the new Mutants movie is supposedly still gonna come out, but at this point, come on. So yeah, it looks like Dark Phoenix has concluded the Fox Marvel universe. Instead of going out with a bang, they went out with a whew, wow. Listen, guys, if you guys know me, you know that I'm a very optimistic person. You know, 90% of the time, I always think, positive. The moment this movie was announced, many fans was like, you know what, this is gonna be shit. This universe should have ended with Logan. This movie is unnecessary, and to some degree, I agree with those people. I think the X-Men universe should have ended with Logan, and after seeing this movie, I was like, you know what, it should have ended with Logan, but at that time, I was like, you know what? With a good writers, with a good director, and this amazing cast, they could make something really, really special. But instead, it's just a really mediocre, standard superhero movie. If anything, this movie should have been like Endgame. It should have been the epic conclusion. And I think they try to be. They try to be like Endgame. They try to, wrap up everything. They're trying to wrap up this storyline with a huge, movie, an adaptation of a very celebrated comic book storyline, and they try to be like Endgame. They're trying to have that feeling of finality, right? They try, but you see the reason why Endgame works so well is because of all the work that went into the 11 years build up, right? Endgame is not just a sequel to any movie. Endgame is the sequel to all of the Marvel movies. With Dark Phoenix, you don't have that same connection. You don't have that same investment in these characters and in these stories. So when things happen on screen that was supposed to be emotional and epic, you just don't feel anything. I'm gonna tell you guys what I actually like about this movie. This is not a complete train wreck, right? This is nowhere near as bad as people are making it out to be. Still pretty bad, but the acting's for the most part pretty damn solid, especially from McAvoy and Fassbender and Sophie Turner. I think the writings for Magneto and Professor X in this film is considerably weaker compared to the other films, the previous films. But as an actor and as someone who's been acting for a long time, I do believe in the abilities to elevate the materials from the actors. And when you have actors like James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender, they will do that. They will absolutely do that, because some of these dialogues, they're just kind of but because they were being spoken, they were being delivered so expertly and so brilliantly by these two actors, you can kind of actually get behind that. And Sophie Turner, she is just so good as Jean Grey. Her chemistry with the other characters, especially Cyclops, it's just really boring. I didn't buy that they were couples like at all. But there are a lot of moments where her acting's really shine. My only complaint is that she cries way too much. Like every 5 minutes, she would just break down, start crying. So that's the only thing that I didn't like about her performance. But other than that, she was brilliant. Sophie Turner is brilliant. Well, but the same thing could not be said about some of these other performances. Gosh, you guys have probably heard this like all over the internet, but Jennifer Lawrence, and listen, guys, I am a huge fan of Jennifer Lawrence. She is an amazing actress, super talented. But in this movie, especially, she just seemed very out of it. Like she just want to get it over with. And listen, sometimes when an actor play a certain role for way too long, and you just want to explore something different. But when you're on set doing your job, I feel like there's a responsibilities from an actor to be professional, right? Look at Robert Downey Jr. I am sure that he is just so relieved to no longer be Iron Man. You did not see that in his last performance in Endgame. He was by far the best part of Endgame. Acting wise, he was the best part. And I feel like Jennifer Lawrence, just the fact that she just seemed kind of like, give me my paycheck and I'm gonna do an okay job as Mystique and collect my paycheck and move on. I don't know, guys. I just find that really disrespectful, honestly. Ty Sheridan, he just so boring as Cyclops. Like, Cyclops is actually like my favorite X-Men. I find Cyclops, the character, to be one of the most underrated superheroes ever. He is basically the Captain America of the X-Men. Again, I can't really blame the actor Ty Sheridan because he tried his best. I know it's not easy to act with this lens, this weird comic book thingy on your eyes like that. I understand. But just the writings and the materials were given to him was so goddamn boring. He's basically a cringe machine in this film. Like, every single line that he say, I just like, oh, god damn it, dude. Like, just do some cool things. And he kind of did, in the third act, kind of start doing some Cyclops things. And that's where the movie starts to pick up the third act. I thought the final act was the most exciting and the best part of the movie by far because of the action. Magneto and Storm in that third act, the two of them were rock stars. Like, they were so badass. There are actually a couple of really inventive and exciting action set pieces involving Magneto. Michael Fassbender is just too cool, man. He's way too cool. Perhaps my biggest disappointment with this movie is actually the score, in a weird way, because it's composed by Hans Zimmer, my absolute favorite composer of all time. But the score here is not bad. It's not a bad musical score by any means. It kind of felt obnoxious at times. There are many scenes where I feel like could have been a lot better without the score. Just let the scene play out by itself, right? You don't need like a really loud score in the background telling you what to feel. And I felt that in many, many scenes. And also, it felt kind of lazy, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. It sounds like 80% Interstellar. Like, the score is basically a recycled Interstellar score. I don't know, it's really disappointing stuff from Hans Zimmer. I want to talk about Simon Kinberg a little bit, because this man, he's been producing and writing all these X-Men movies for so long. You could tell that he really loved this source material. He loved the X-Men comics, and he loved these characters. And you can tell, like, his passion is real, and I respect that. But he's not a very good filmmaker, in my opinion, and that could be an experience thing. This is his feature debut. Think about it. To make a Hollywood blockbuster as your first feature film, like, that is just crazy. Like, you know how, like, filmmakers, they would started out doing a couple of indies. A lot of it. Some of them did a lot of indies before they step into the big studio movies, the huge set pieces, the huge action and sci-fi movies. Simon Kinberg, he didn't do any of that. He just jumped right into the director chair of this huge blockbuster X-Men movie. At a certain point, especially the second act, you could tell that this is a film directed by a very inexperienced director. And it's kind of a shame because, I know that this man loved the X-Men and he wanted to do his best, but in the end, they should have just gone with another director. Who cares if Bryan Singer is not going to come back? Just hire someone else. It's not like Bryan Singer is the only one who's done, good and great X-Men movie. James Mangold, he did 2 excellent Wolverine movie. One of them nominated for a screenplay Oscar. Look at Matthew Vaughn. He did probably one of my favorite X-Men movie, First Class. So there are people who would make you good to great X-Men movies. Like, why him? That's my problem. Why Simon Kinberg? Dark Phoenix got a couple of good moments, especially in the third act. The action was actually really exciting in that final act. But everything leading up to that was just really boring, mediocre. The actings, from Fassbender and McAvoy and especially Sophie Turner was really solid. This is the second time they tried to adapt the Dark Phoenix saga into film, and it is very disappointing to see that they did not learn their lesson. Dark Phoenix is not supposed to be just one movie. Dark Phoenix is an event much like Endgame, Dark Phoenix is supposed to be a cinematic event that takes years and years to build up. But what we got is just a really mediocre movie with characters you don't care about, with a storyline you don't really care about. And for this to be the last X-Men movie, I'm kind of heartbroken, like, thinking about it, to be honest. Like, I am so sad right now. I'm gonna give Dark Phoenix a 5 out of 10. Hey guys, if you got a chance to see Dark Phoenix, let me know in the comment section how you feel about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And if you enjoyed my review, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more reviews like this. With that being said, I'll see you soon.